We define bilingualism as having some ability to use two or more languages. So a bilingual teacher should instruct in two languages and the use of those two languages as mediums of instructions to better educate bilingual kids.
I'm Mónica. In first place, I'm going to give my opinion about the bilingualism. I agree with the establishment of this model in schools. This project is a key to improve the modern society. The bilingualism, in my opinion, aims to develop linguistic, cultural, and cognitive abilities. The bilingual education has got a lot of advantages, but it has got some weaknesses too. Thus, now I'm going to tell you the different advantages and weaknesses. On the one hand, I consider that bilingual education has got the following advantages. It helps to learn of natural way the second language and parallel to our native language. Also, children who study in bilingual section or school have greater communicative ability and mental flexibility. In addition, with bilingual education, children will have many opportunities in the labor market tomorrow, and they understand better the cultural diversity of our world and are more open to new cultures. On the other hand, bilingual education has got the following weakness. The majority of a society is monolingual, so children will only use the second language in school, and outside of it they cannot be helped. In terms of children with special needs, it will be more difficult to acquire this language, as there are still too many methodologies that can help the child defend in the second language. In conclusion, bilingual education is essential nowadays because the child who studies this model has more abilities in communication and the child understands other cultures and ways of life. For me, a good bilingual teacher is one who teaches different subjects in English with motivation. The teacher has to enjoy teaching because the children need to enjoy too. It's necessary to speak all the time in English. In this way, the children will learn English more easily. Also, it is important to promote the participation of students. Moreover, a bilingual teacher has to have passion because if the contexts are difficult in Spanish, in English they will be more difficult, so the students will take more time in learning this. Finally, in my opinion, a good pronunciation is necessary because if the teacher doesn't speak in correct way, in the future these mistakes will be more difficult to correct.
I think that the bilingual education program is useful here in Spain, especially at higher levels with older kids. That being said, I think that especially at the younger levels, the system should change a bit. While the program is clearly teaching students to speak English better, at the lowest levels, at the ages of 8 to 10 or 11 years old, it does so at the cost of learning the subject. It's important to have a strong base in English in the subject that you're trying to learn, otherwise you end up missing a lot of the key information. So at a younger age, it's much more difficult for students to understand what is being taught, so their knowledge of the bilingual subject suffers. I think that this is the main problem of the bilingual program. One thing every teacher needs to know is when to continue speaking and explaining in English, a complex topic, and when to switch to Spanish in order to not waste too much time. Because once again, this has to do with the balance between reinforcing English skills and in making sure that the students understand the subject at hand.
Hello, my name is Andrea and I'm going to say what I think in that field. In my opinion, a good bilingual teacher is the one who gives their students the opportunity of communicate in several languages, not the one who is good at teaching science in a foreign language, English generally. To teach or to be taught natural and social science in English does not mean bilingualism, even if you know everything about the subject in both languages. To teach natural and social science in English means that to teach natural and social science in another language and to have the vocabulary needed too. So do we have bilingual education in bilingual schools in Spain? Maybe, but I have not seen it yet. What I have seen in my short experience are children with 2 hours of science in English per week. That fact does not transform their education in a bilingual one. It is true that they have language assistants in those classes, but unfortunately they are not teachers, they are just native English speakers who does their best. As Mitch told me once, sometimes native speakers in classrooms are useless because the students do not have the necessary English level, so they do not understand anything. And how would I try to change that? I believe in changes in education, so to make a good bilingual one and to become a good bilingual teacher should start on changing the education in the first grades of schooling. I would try to give them the necessary basis of English to make them understand the corresponding subject. So the fact is not teaching only in English, but teaching to make them able to cope with life in both languages. According to what Irene told me in the interview I did, in her opinion, bilingualism is not the goal to achieve in the rest of Europe. It is multilingualism. As nowadays, it is not possible in a whole country, she believes in the clean methodology, an approach for learning content through an additional language, for into a second, thus teaching both the subject and the language.
Hello, I'm Elisabet. I'm going to talk about bilingualism in general. From my point of view, bilingualism is very important because if we know other language, in this case English, we can understand other cultures and other countries. English also permits to know persons from all parts of the world. Also, I think to know the language, the opportunities to gain employment increase. English is the language that is related to travel. And finally, I think that children must learn English since they are small because it is very important for their futures. Another issue to discuss is how to be a good bilingual teacher in the classroom. For a bilingual education program, it is important to the teacher have to do activities in natural science, in maths, in literacy, to discuss basic concepts that they need at the level of primary education. Also, the teacher should arouse curiosity in the students. This curiosity can be done with a game. The main thing we must take into account, the teachers, is that we are a model to be followed for each of the students, and constantly we must observe how to act. Also, we must make the dynamic class so that the student pay attention what is said in class. And finally, we have to increase the motivation of students.